I wanted to explain my stance on emulation for old hardware, old video game systems, and the more I think about it, the more I realize I'm torn. Because coming from a Christian perspective, I don't think it's right to steal software and things like that. But also just from a personal perspective, from what I've experienced with buying games on proprietary Nintendo hardware, I realize that it's kind of a scam at this point. Um, Owning a proprietary piece of hardware that isn't always up to date, or I have the classic SNES, and I bought it because I wanted to say I own an official copy, digital copy. Um, just having that appealed to me, but really, um, I've been following a channel called Accursed Farms, or some uh, channel like that. I think it's called Accursed Farms, and right now he's fighting in the EU or Europe or Canada. I forget where he's based or where he's contesting the laws, but he's basically fighting for um, like a legally recognized like archiving of video games. So whether that's in like a library setting or like an internet archive of some sort like that, um, which I think is you know admirable. I think that's a good thing to fight for. I think that's a good cause overall. You know, it's a simple thing, but really, these games they mean a lot to people. It's art. They carry a lot of memories for people, and they don't really have the ability to replay these games in many cases because the extraordinary prices for some of these games are well into the hundreds, and owning the controller and the hardware, it's even owning the TV, like the CRT TV, it's just a big to experience the game kind of the way it was meant to be played. So I am in favor of emulation to an extent. um, I think it would be better for Nintendo especially to just archive their things online for you to buy a digital download, because right now with the Switch you're just subscribed to playing a couple of their games. I think you could also buy some stuff off their market, but I'm not really sure exactly how that all works out. I don't own a Switch. I don't intend to get a Switch anytime soon, but considering that I've bought a couple games on the Nintendo Wii, and then I bought a couple games on the Wii U, I'm just not willing to make that purchase again. And that's a shame, because those games that I bought were beloved games from the past that I really enjoyed. But I think the way we need to go is we need these companies to realize that it's not ethical to keep selling the same games over and over again on proprietary hardware with controllers that they stop producing on on TVs, you know what I mean, that nobody owns anymore. We just need to have these games available. That's just kind of the way things are trending. They're going that way. Things are trending this way with or without the industry, which is which is where I'm kind of torn. I'm torn on whether or not emulation is well, I guess I'm not too torn on the subject of emulation concerning myself, because I kind of know I stand somewhere in the middle where I'm pro emulation. I have the classic Super Nintendo, and I know I'm not gonna buy any more games off the Switch marketplace or subscribe to their Nintendo subscription model or whatever to stream old Nintendo games. We really just need one place where we can find, and Steam does have like the Nintendo, not the Nintendo, the Mega Man Classic and Mega Man X collections. You still can get some games like on Steam or whatever, but I think, yeah, I've heard some good arguments as far as like seeing it like almost as like a library. They're trying to just make them available to the public, not even necessarily something that you just buy online, although that is, an option as well, to have a Nintendo client through your PC that you can purchase games through. You could purchase other people, old school games. That is something that they should consider, rather than making you going out and buy a $400 piece of hardware that's going to be obsolete in a handful of years. They take down the online services, they take down the marketplace. They just want to keep owning what they sold you. So that's why I'm in more favor of emulation than not, although I do have my own personal boundaries and limits for myself with what I'll do with emulation. It's a little bit more restrictive than most people, although I am in favor of these otherwise dead communities and dead speedrunning communities and these old fighting game communities. Like, what else are they gonna do? Or if they can't access it legally, they need by some means they're going to enjoy these old games, whether it's legal or not. And I think that the sooner the industry catches up to where things have been trending for quite some time, the quicker we're gonna have a more like equilibrium between like the private ownership of a game and communities and the actual corporations that produce these games and the IPs and all that. I mean, I'm sure it will be a licensing nightmare for the most part, but we need to at least see some effort on their part, where we have the companies responding to how the gamers are already operating their communities. I mean, there needs to be some recognition there. They need to acknowledge that people want these old games still, and that selling it to them again and again and again on proprietary hardware is not ethical. I don't think so. But either way, those are more or less my thoughts. And yeah, feel free to weigh in what you think, if you found this video informative or entertaining. Take care.